If you get a whiplash in a car wreck, you can get symptoms such as pain, headaches, dizziness, etc. But I'm going to tell you the real reason that you need to be concerned. Stay tuned. Hey, I'm Dr. Ekberg with Wellness for Life, and if you'd like to truly master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. People in a car accident, they're often told that they get a whiplash and they have neck pain and the whiplash caused it. But what is it? So let's talk about the mechanics in a car accident a little bit. So you're sitting at a traffic light, for example, and someone hits you from the back. So what that means is that your body is still, but the car gets pushed out from under you. So your body moves forward and your head is sitting still. And your head, your brain, perceives that as the body is leaving and the head is getting left behind. And the brain says, this can't be good. And the head weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of a bowling ball. And it's suspended on this flimsy little neck by muscles. So when the head gets left behind, the brain is going to try to keep up with the body, so it starts contracting the muscles on the front. But because the head is so heavy and this impact is so sudden, there's no way that these muscles can keep up with that tremendous force. So what happens then is the muscles get micro tears. You start tearing little fibers within the muscle. And then if you have a headrest that's properly positioned, meaning kind of high up, hopefully then the headrest will catch the head and you're not going to get an excessive extension of the head, because that could be really damaging. So make sure that you have your headrest in a proper high position. But then the head bounces on the headrest and then it starts going forward. So first the head was moving back, and then it bounces, and now it starts moving forward. And now the same procedure happens again, but in reverse. So the muscles on the back of the neck contract to try to keep the head from falling off the shoulders going forward. So first you get some little micro tears in the front, and then you get little micro tears in the back. And these tears, they're sort of like a really hard workout. If you've ever had one of those, you know that you feel a little stiff the first day, you feel really stiff on the second day, and then it culminates. The worst stiffness, soreness, is somewhere between 48 to 72 hours. So that's why when you've been in a car accident, that's where the stiffness and inflammation is the worst. Either of those things is not a terribly big deal, because your body can fix that. Your body can heal micro tears, it can get rid of the inflammation and so forth. But here's why we need to be concerned. First, we need to talk about how does the body normally work? How does the brain normally control the body? Well, we have something called proprioception, that's feedback. So the brain controls the body, but the brain needs information from the body. So if you move your hand, then it's the brain sending the signals, but the hand has to tell the brain exactly what's going on so that the brain can manage that precisely. If the brain gets accurate information, accurate feedback, the brain can do a precise job of controlling it. Same thing happens with the muscles in the neck. But in a whiplash, you have trauma, you have impact, you have inflammation, you have micro tears. So you get really, really stiff, and for a few days or even a couple of weeks after, you move really, really stiff and things aren't moving so well. So it's the movement that normally provides the information that gives the brain an accurate picture of what the world looks like. And the combination of the trauma from the whiplash and the stiffness that keeps you from moving much means that you have a reduced amount of feedback to the brain and you have distorted information. So now the brain does not have a true or accurate or sufficient picture of what the world looks like. So after a couple of weeks, you may have less of the stiffness, you may recover, you may feel pretty good. Hey, it wasn't so bad, I'm feeling 80% better. But you've set yourself up for a vicious cycle, because that reduced information, that inaccurate perception of the brain can come back to haunt you years, months and years later. So a lot of people, they don't really have a problem with it for several years, but then 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, now they start having some issues, and at that point it's hard for most people to link it back to the car accident. But once we find people with arthritis or stiff neck, poor curves, poor posture, there's almost always one or several whiplash accidents in several years prior to that. So that is why I strongly recommend that you would get some good quality chiropractic care after you've had a car accident. Whether you have any pain or not, there has been a distortion of those signals, and it's in your best interest to get that taken care of. And if you get some chiropractic treatment, make sure that you don't just get enough to feel a little better. Make sure that you get enough care that you restore all of those signals so that you have a correct and true picture represented in the brain from all of that feedback. So that means all of the muscles, the anterior scalenes, the sternocleidomastoid muscles, the extensor muscles, they should all be firing perfectly, which we can test through applied kinesiology. You should have a perfect range of motion. You should restore the range of motion. So when you rotate your head and look to the side, or when you tilt your head to the side, or when you bend it forwards or backwards, all of those ranges of motions should be restored, and there should be no pain or stiffness associated with that. That's how you know that you have reset all those communication pathways and you're not going to get any issues with this years down the road. So if you know someone who's been in a car accident recently or even months or years before, share this information with them so that they can learn the consequences and how everything functions, and how chiropractic and even nutrition can be very beneficial to resolve those problems. If you're new to this channel and you enjoy this kind of information, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching.